Everyone cried when Tanjiro came back. But nobody asked, what if he didn't come back as himself?
ArcRisen. And today, we are going to tell you the story Ufotable never had the courage to tell. The story of Tanjiro Kamado, Demon King. Here is what actually happened. Muzan Kibutsuji, dying, desperate, poured every last drop of his blood into Tanjiro's corpse. The idea? Create the perfect demon vessel. A body that could use sun breathing. A weapon against the light itself. And it almost worked. For 5 minutes, Tanjiro Kamado was the most dangerous being alive. Kanao's wisteria drug pulled him back. But today, what if she was just 3 seconds too late? The medicine reaches his lips. But his demon cells have already sealed his throat. It runs down his chin. Kanao watches it fall. And Tanjiro opens his eyes. Not brown, not warm. Red. Pure, absolute crimson. He looks at her, and he smiles. But it is not the smile she remembers. Here is why every demon, every surviving demon, should be terrified. Tanjiro carries Muzan's full blood. That means instant regeneration, endless stamina, no weakness to wisteria. But he also carries something no demon has ever had, the complete sun breathing. Hinokami Kagura, the technique that Yorichi used to nearly kill Muzan 400 years ago. A demon who can use sunlight-based attacks. He is the first being in history who cannot be killed by the sun and cannot be killed by conventional weapons. He is, by every definition, immortal. But here is what makes this unbearable. Zenitsu collapses when he hears. Not from shock, from grief. Inosuke goes silent for the first time anyone has ever seen. Nezuko, who survived 2 years as a demon to protect her brother, stands at the edge of a field and does not move for 3 days. And Giyu Tomioka, the man who spared Tanjiro's life in the very first episode, picks up his sword. Because now, it is his job to end it. But here's what no one expected. Demon Tanjiro remembers everything. He remembers his mother's face. He remembers Nezuko. He remembers every person he ever promised to protect. Most demons lose their humanity within hours. Tanjiro holds on to it. Because his compassion is not a personality trait. It is structural. It is in his bones. And that creates something no demon in history has ever had to face. A conscience. Giyu finds him in the mountains 3 days later. They do not speak for a long time. Giyu's blade is drawn. Tanjiro's hands are not. You know why I'm here, Giyu says. And Tanjiro answers, not with a roar, not with violence. I know, but I'm not ready yet. Give me 1 more day. It is the most human sentence a demon has ever spoken, and Giyu, the man who follows every rule, lowers his sword. Just for 1 day. And in that 1 day, Tanjiro does something no one expected. He does not try to find a cure. He does not fight his way out. He writes letters. 1 to Nezuko, 1 to Zenitsu, 1 to Inosuke, 1 to Giyu, 1 to each person he loves. And then, at sunrise, because he chose the sun, he goes to the highest mountain he can find, and he uses Hinokami Kagura on himself. He burns the demon blood out of his body from the inside. The full force of a Hashira-level sun-breathing technique versus the blood of the Demon King. It should be impossible. But this is Tanjiro Kamado, and impossible has never meant anything to him. The mountain is silent. Giyu waits at the base. He waits for 3 hours. Nothing. And then, Tanjiro walks down. Slowly. Burned. Broken. Human. His eyes are brown again. Just brown. Warm and brown. And Giyu Tomioka, the man who never shows emotion, sits down in the dirt, puts his head in his hands, and shakes. Nezuko receives her letter 3 days later. She opens it in the garden where she first learned to walk in sunlight again. It says, Nezuko, if you're reading this, I made it back. I promised I would, and if I didn't, then I went out the same way I lived, trying to protect you. Either way, I kept my word. Your big brother always keeps his word. Tanjiro. She reads it twice, then she folds it carefully, presses it to her chest, and looks at the sun. Here is what this story reveals. Tanjiro's greatest power was never sun-breathing. It was never demon blood. It was the fact that he could become the most dangerous thing alive and still choose not to be. Most people, given that much power, would justify using it. Tanjiro used his last drop of it to remove himself from the equation. That is the most human thing any character in anime has ever done. But here's the question I want to leave with you, and I genuinely want to know your answer in the comments. If Tanjiro had kept the demon power, do you think he would have used it for good? Or do you think the blood would have eventually won? That is the story. Subscribe to ArcRisen, because next week we are asking, what if Sung Jin Woo from Solo Leveling never awakened as the Shadow Monarch? What if the system chose someone else? The answer will break you. ArcRisen. The stories behind the legends.